This is our presentation for the DTCC Hackathon for our tool called CompliChange. We are a three-member team, and I'm Karthik. I'll be taking you over the demo of what we have done, and I'll also give a explanation on our architecture, what we are trying to achieve, and all those things. So first thing is let's go over the architecture so that that's clear for everyone. So uh, we before getting to the architecture, so CompliChange is a tool that is specifically designed uh, to to make the life of developers and architects and everyone uh, that has to deal with a lot of compliances and regulatory frameworks easier. So basically, whenever a regulatory framework or compliance compliance rules or anything comes in, there's going to be a long it's going to take a long time for the teams to plan this whole event out, start working on what are the rules, regulations, and how is it going to impact the code change analysis and a lot of things, right? So we're trying to make that easier and make certain tools that will be like a peer programmer to you to help you out to achieve creating these in a very short time. So complete change comes with a set of agents basically that helps us to achieve this. That helps us to achieve it. So we have four AI agents which kind of works through together to achieve the goal what I've mentioned right now. So to go into the architecture, basically we are completely Google Cloud driven. This particular architecture at least is fully Google Cloud driven. So basically we the users we when I say we, it's the users can upload files to Google storage, and that storage gets picked up by the PubSub mechanism, PubSub or the notifications, and that is then picked up by the Cloud Run basically. And the Cloud Run application is another, you can call it an AI application, not an agent, but an AI application with which has Gemini component to it as well. So that takes the data, like let's say we are uploading some regulatory or compliance rules or very large file, right? And it takes the data, chunks the data, puts it into vector search, Vertex AI vector search, which gives us a near capability of RAG basically. And once that is done, its work is done. So whatever documents comes in, it always listens to the document via PubSub, gets it, puts it into vector search. Now comes the compliance agent. That's one of the main agents or one of the brain of the whole application, you can call it. It gets all these data from these vector searches, and through these vector searches it questions the vector searches, like is there any new compliance that has come in, is there any new rules that has come in. So through the vector search it gets those chunk of data, it tries to process it on its own to understand what it is, how it is, and everything. When it strikes a roadblock, like okay, I'm not able to understand this particular section B of this rule, or the FINRA rule of this 134 or something like that, it goes to Google search to first and foremost understand that, to get the knowledge of what it is, what's happening. And once the compliance agent gets all these info together, chunked it together, it kinds of hands off certain set of information to the rules agent. So sorry, so the rules agent is nothing but an agent that kind of gets a raw kind of rules in a structured format, and then it kind of changes into a proper rule like structure which the code can understand, so with which you can compare the code basically. So that's what the rules agent does, because rules agent also takes this data using Gemini and everything, tries to formulate the rules in a way that the coding agent or code can basically, we can compare that with the code. Now the rules, once the rules agent combines the rules and does everything, it puts it into spanner DB, and then it hands off to the coding agent. So the coding agent gets these rules. First and foremost, it goes to GitHub via MCP. It gets the data via MCP, gets the repo, relevant repo via MCP. Based on the rules, it checks the code and the rule to say whether it's compliant or not. Whether this code is compliant or not, it's very old code. It needs to be changed. What sections need to be changed? Whether that section is this, what is the appropriate code change it can do. It give you all the code completely to say what are the things that it can do. So once that happens, the code check agent hands off to code modification agent. So basically, code modification agent, based on the rules, based on the code related changes, everything, it modifies the code, but it does not merge it into GitHub. It asks a user whether, okay, is this fine, is this code okay for us to merge, or is it code not merge, sorry, is it fine to create a branch. The user can check the code and say approve. Once approved, the code modification agent will create a branch in GitHub on the same repo. So, and then you can, of course, all the other things of testing that, and everything can happen in tandem, right? So that's the quick description of our architecture in a nutshell. Now let me go to the application. So basically, we have certain components. One is the file upload, which I mentioned earlier. So basically, that is where you upload the file. It a lot of back processing happens, and it comes to the orchestrator. So for this purpose of this presentation, I'm not going to directly upload and show, but in meantime, I can do a quick one. So let me upload. So it has got uploaded. Now in the background, a lot of processes happens. So for that, I'll just quickly go into, as I said, we're all deployed on Cloud Run, and everything is on Cloud Run, right? So if you go into orchestrator and logs, it keeps running in the background. So as you see, it has received the file. It will start to chunk the data. It will start to not chunk the data. It starts to understand the data and what needs to be done on the data and stuff. It will also read whenever it needs to. So it gets the context of each part of it to understand it. So that's what the orchestrator does. Since I cannot show that particular thing completely over here, that's why I had to show. In an organization, there will always be a catch of how do we give access to repos. So in CompliChange, what repo you add is what we will use it to check. So we will not go take any other repos. Now, as I said, rules, right? First is the rules agent. So if you go here, first is the rules agent. Now, how does the rules agent do it, and what output does it give? So these are the set of rules that's already there, which we created, right? Recently we uploaded this. So if you go here, for each of the rules, you can see what is the description and check ID and all these things. Like what is the regulatory about, and what are each of these things about, right? So all of these information is fetched from each rules, and that's how the rules are there. So after this is where the coding agent kicks in. But for the purpose of this demo, we're not handing off to the code agent directly, but rather we will do it. Okay, so if you see here, there's quite a number of rules that we already have got from there, and it's displaying over here. So you can pick any rule, whichever you want to do. Basically, whichever is relevant for you, you can pick that up, pick the repo which you want to compare with, and you can then run the agent. This is for the demo purpose we kept, or else this can be automated also. This is just purely for the demo, we have kept that. And what happens is the agent is run based on all the rules. It kind of tells that there is quite number of changes. So it says it's not compliant, it's old code, and it kind of says where it violates and what are the assertions, and so it also gives more particular data on all these things. Yeah. So in a nutshell, yeah, so that's what the code agent does. I've not showed the last part of the thing, that is this code modification agent, which for this hackathon we were not able to fully do it, but all the other parts have been done. So that's what we have shown it over here on the various sections of it. And based on these rules is what we do, although all of those things. So if you see here, it kind of tells you a lot of things, a lot of info based on the rules and stuff. Yeah. So I think yeah. So as you can see, we are we're not completely automating it, but we are using agents basically to act like a peer programmer and give more useful information to the developer, so that the developer, and it'll also do the code change as well. So beyond that, the developer can assess that code, test it out, and then may apply to it. It reduces quite a lot of time in these kind of regulatory and big large organizations. So that's the whole aim of CompliChange. And yeah, that's about it. Let us know your feedback.